Sounds like you got a hairball cameo. Like my little kitty, like she'll be over there, she'll be like, ooh, 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 and then all of a sudden, and it's like a hairball, a little bit of a mouse. I know she's been bringing mice in, and like just leaving them in the floor. Luckily, she doesn't like drop them off in the bed or something.
Yeah. I remember. I want to say probably about 8 or 9. And the cat that my mom used to have, her name was Lucky. We used to live in these apartments off of Britain. And man, she brought in the biggest rat. I was upstairs in my room playing with my toy, whatever. And all I hear is just like a loud scream from my mom. And yeah, it was this huge old rat.
Now she because she goes outside during the night. We have like a little doggy door, and she brings in like cicadas that aren't dead yet, and so they come in the house and they're like trying to get. I'm like, what is going on? Yeah, and then but I tell you, Cameo, the minute that she brings a snake and leaves it at my like anywhere in the house, she gone. So everybody's
up that.
Yeah, everybody's listening to Nerds to Men. In case they didn't know. It's not like a radio show where you're like, who are these guys? But you never know. We're Nerds to Men. We like to talk about stuff that's nerdy but also real life.
Right.
So we do have a bunch of nerd stuff to update everybody on today.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. DC Fandome.
Yeah. Is it Fandome or Fandom?
Yeah.
Dome? Why
Dome.
did they call it Dome? Like, because we're all living really like in a dome?
Possibly.
We don't even know it, like The Simpsons. Yeah. I mean, hey, before we get into all the Fandome stuff, though, I saw a post that you made earlier that there's supposed to be like some kind of asteroid that's going to hit us before the election.
Yeah, like November 2nd, I believe.
Could it come any sooner, perchance?
Well, see, the crazy thing is that it's not even that big.
Yeah.
So I think it was said like 6.5 feet in diameter. So I don't know if they're like calculating that, pieces breaking off once it hits the atmosphere, or that's how big it really is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm just gonna say it's been a hard year, so if it's gonna end like that, let's just get it over with.
Yeah, I saw one of my friends were in a like Game of Thrones chat room, and people are still talking about Game of Thrones to this day.
Wow.
Yeah. So I guess somebody was auctioning off like a crystal dagger. It looks like a crystal dagger. I'll send it to you so you can post it. But let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, it looks like this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So somebody posted it, and this dude says, "Good. Save it for December when the White Walkers come for us in the 2020 season finale."
Oh, I know, man. Like this isn't funny, but there's the 2 hurricanes that are
in the Gulf of Mexico right now.
Yeah. And, oh, I remember watching Katrina happen. During it was almost September, or it was September because it was Labor Day weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Man, I really don't want to see a repeat of any of that, but I'm sure they don't either down there.
No.
But it could hit Texas, New Orleans, like a bunch of different places. So that'd be awfully sad. And so hopefully, say some prayers that doesn't actually happen. But
right.
I was kind of curious about this. 2 things really. So the moon, it's got all those craters in it, right?
Right.
And it's because of all the rocks that hit it, right?
Correct.
So why don't those rocks hit us? Is it because of like the force field that we have around the Earth, or is it just because the moon's smaller so it looks all...
Maybe.
You see what I'm saying? If it's covered in all these craters, why don't we have like tons of craters?
I don't know.
Is that a stupid question?
I mean,
somebody out there is
really.
probably like, that's a dumb question, Brad.
I mean, it could be because of our atmosphere, possibly.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like maybe our but you would think our gravity or whatever would maybe bring them more in, but I don't know. I was just always kind of wondered that. But did you see this not too long ago? And it looked like it was for real. It looked for real, Cameo. That I guess they had some open records acts concerning some of the different, studies that I don't know if it's the Air Force, NASA, whoever in the government that's done them. But they said in these released documents that the U.S. government is in possession of vehicles that weren't made on this world, on this earth.
I mean, it's 2020. Anything is possible.
Listen, I've always believed in aliens. Okay, I just think that our ever expanding universe is too big to say that there's no other Earths that or planets that could sustain life. And so, but I was even watching a documentary last night on aliens, and they were talking about, that there were other places that they did in other galaxies that they were like the planets were far enough away from the sun, like ours was, their own sun, that they felt like it could support life. And so, I just think that if that's true though, because I looked it up and like it was from a few different like news sources that wasn't like immediately that you're like, oh, well, that's obviously not real. Yeah. So either we're going to other worlds and creating our own, making our stuff. Maybe we've moved our factory to Mars. It's cheaper there, right? Cheaper labor, or like the what's the thing out in New Mexico, Roswell and all that?
Yeah. Area 51.
Yeah, all that's real.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I wouldn't put it past anybody or anything right now, the way 2020 is going. Yeah. All I'm saying is, when I saw Back to the Future, 2, I was hoping that we were going to have flying vehicles, and it was supposed to happen in 2015, and 2020 we got a pandemic instead. So,
I mean, we don't really even have hoverboards that really work, not like the ones in the
you can't really call those hoverboards either. They got wheels.
So I want the hoverboards like they had,
right?
But it is cool, like growing up, like I watched Dick Tracy and stuff, and Star Trek. And now we do have the phones on our wrists that we can talk through and see videos and stuff. So it's pretty cool that we did get that far. But you're right. Although I do not want flying cars.
Why is that?
I don't like to fly anyway, and people are bad drivers anyway.
That's true. So I do. What I do kind of want is, you remember iRobot? Did you see iRobot?
No.
Okay, well, iRobot has Will Smith in it, and I think it was like a Mercedes or an Audi, but obviously it was made for the movie. But it was a self-driving car. I know that we have those, but they're only for certain businesses. I kind of want one, for everyday use.
And that's what I was going to say. I guess if we had flying cars like Westworld, where the computers ran them. Yeah. But then again, I don't want to be up there at the mercy of some hacked computer.
That's also true.
So I'm not for it. I'll just stay on the ground. Thank you. And then, but even if you're on the ground, you'll have people who are texting, and then all of a sudden they're going to crash right down into the ground into you.
Right.
Then you have to worry about people's crashing their cars right into your house.
Exactly. Yeah. That's kind of scary.
Then we're gonna look like the moon. All right, let's get into it, Cameo, because this wasn't part of Fandome, but it is on the DC app, and it's also on HBO Max. Harley Quinn, the animated series. You're like, wow, how did they get season 2? Well, they did it. They did season 1 and season 2 at the same time, and so they were able to release it pretty much a couple months after they finished up with season 1. All right, so I will just start by saying that I love Harley Quinn, the animated series. I thought season 2 was even better than season 1. The reasons that I loved it was because the humor. I thought it was hilarious. Ron Funches is King Shark. I love him. I loved him, which I think a couple of like Alan Tudyk or I think that they were on that other show that was based on DC, but it was like a comedy and it didn't last a whole year.
No, they even cut it one episode short.
Right. And so I'm glad that they are now able to do this. And of course, they're not restrained by it being on NBC or whatever. So the humor is a lot more rated R. There's a lot of gore in this show too. And it's some of it's even like pointless, but that's what I think makes it hilarious. And then thirdly, I really like the portrayal of Harley Quinn in this. She's a badass. She's flawed, like Harley Quinn is, but she's a badass. She doesn't really need the Joker in this show, and I love it. I thought it was great. So I would give this one 2.5 crying Kevin Smiths for season 2. Now the thing about that is you did not like it, and you told me this as I was trying to get you to watch it. How far did you get into it?
Okay. I think I'm on here. Let me double check HBO Max. I think I'm on the last episode of season 1.
Oh, okay.
It's 12 seasons or 12 episodes, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, first season, I am halfway through episode 12.
So,
and
let me just say, season 2, Condiment Man.
Oh God. Is he better than Kite Man?
I love Kite Man. But I didn't think I was going to. I thought, oh, Kite Man.
Yeah.
But the way they use him in this is great.
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't get even through season 2. So
no. So I can't judge season 2 yet because I know they're just like Iron Fist on Netflix. Season 1 was horrible, and then I liked season 2.
Yeah, but I don't think if you didn't like season 1, I don't think you're going to like season 2 that much better. I mean, I liked it. I loved it, but I loved season 1 too.
Well, like I said, I'm going to still try to watch it.
Okay.
And, but season 1 for me, as a whole, I'm not going to bash it too much because there are some things that I did like about it. Kaylee Cuoco did a good job as Harley Quinn, even though like I'm used to the Batman animated series Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And how Margot Robbie portrayed kind of the same way as Harley Quinn. So somewhat like I'm talking about voice wise.
Right.
She didn't have that like thick Jersey, New York accent.
And Kelly doesn't either, but she does at times. It bleeds over at times.
Yeah. So like you said, Ron Funches, hilarious as King Shark.
Yeah.
Alan Tudyk as Clayface, goofy.
So goofy. Love Clayface. I love Clayface in this.
He's always like, if people don't know who Clayface is, he was an actor before.
He's an actor.
Yeah. Before all this stuff happens. And so if you want to think of Clayface as being a overzealous, exaggerated actor, you're going to get that in Harley Quinn. For sure.
Yeah. And that's what I love. That is exactly what I love is they're able to poke fun at these characters, but not in a bad way. They're not saying that these characters are terrible, but they're able to poke a little fun and you're in on the joke. So
yeah,
that's what I appreciated about it. So
season.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, because most of the time me and you enjoy the same things. So I'm interested to find out like what it is you didn't like exactly.
So what I didn't really like about it is that it was too goofy. And I mean, I know this is what they wanted. But when I first saw the what is it called? The trailer for Harley Quinn, I was like, okay, this might seem pretty cool. She's, kooky as a villain and as a character. So I was like, okay, it's going to have some jokes. I thought it was going to be, kind of somewhat serious and a little bit more action.
Right.
But it was more of like a sitcom. And I think that's why I didn't like it as much probably as you did. I'm not sure how you went into Harley Quinn, but me, I was wanting, like action and I didn't care. The comedy is fine for me.
Yeah.
But I felt like it was a little bit too much for what I was expecting. So that's what made me not like it as much.
The comedy, I kind of expected the comedy aspect of it because it was animated, and it's Harley Quinn, so I feel like that's the best chance to pull that off. But I just liked I loved all the references to like other things that like you wouldn't necessarily expect. Like in season 2, there's like odes to Mr. Miracle and stuff that you would recognize for sure. Mm-hmm. But that's what I kind of was wondering. Is it because it's a DC thing, and you're more of a Marvel guy, or?
Oh, no, not at all. Because I love DC animated stuff. Mm-hmm. I will say, I think we're going to talk about it a little bit later, so I won't talk too much about it. But Deathstroke, I like that one, but not as much as I liked Justice League Dark Apocalypse or Apocalypse Dark or whatever it's called. But and some of the other ones like Flashpoint. Flashpoint is like one of my favorite DC movies.
That one's a great one. That one is a great one.
But yeah, it has nothing to do with me liking Marvel more, because I think Marvel animated movies, they're okay. They're not on par with DC animated movies.
DC definitely wins the animated, and then Marvel definitely wins the regular one.
Yeah.
Regular movies.
But yeah, I just think that the comedy was a little bit too much for what I was wanting. If I would have went into it, because that's how all of their movies and TV shows are. Yeah. It's like action, except for like Teen Titans Go, which I watched some of that and it's actually pretty good, but again, I went in like, I'm not going to like this. And then, there's certain things that I like about Teen Titans Go, but Harley Quinn, there are several things that I did like about it. I did like Batman. Batman was
James Gordon too.
Yeah, James Gordon.
He's such a pathetic James Gordon in this. Right? It's so funny.
Right. I liked Aquaman because Aquaman had the same type of humor I do. Yeah. In it. So I mean, there was little things that I did like about it, but as a whole, I didn't really care for it. But there are certain things that I did like about it. And for season 1, I would give it a one crying Smith. Okay, so one crying Kevin Smith. At least no Jared Leto Jokers then. No. Okay. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad for me. Well, hey, before we get into some of the other stuff, since you brought up Deathstroke Knights and Dragons, let's go ahead and talk about that since we're on the animated kick right now. And I watched that one last night, but I have a feeling that this one's been out a little while. Has it not? Yeah, I think I had gotten it like 2 weeks ago. Oh, okay. Yeah. Because it was kind of buried in like all the releases. Yeah. And I was like, wow, I was surprised because I didn't even realize that was out. But so that one I really enjoyed. I didn't realize till the very end of the movie, till I saw the credits, that Michael Chiklis is Deathstroke. Yeah. I didn't realize that either. Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. Did you know that? Did you see it at the end, or are you just finding that out right now? No. I was like, man, that voice sounds familiar, and I can't, because usually they have the same people voice the same characters. So I didn't. I was like, man, that doesn't sound like the normal Deathstroke. So I had to go look it up. It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of other famous people in this one as far as voice actors. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure who Sasha Alexander is. She plays his wife. Like I'm looking through all the names, and none of them stick out to me as somebody I was like, oh. The girl that played Bora, Monet Noji, she was in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle reboot movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
sweet.
She was Karai.
Sweet.
But I don't know what else she's played in. So that's the only other person that I know from other things.
So I haven't looked it up to find out exactly, but I'm pretty sure this one was rated R based on. I think we almost saw Deathstroke's wiener during one scene. I was like, "Is this Batman Damned or what's going on here?" I was like, I didn't rewind it though to see if I think I saw what I saw.
Yeah, you did.
No, I really didn't. But I think I saw what I saw. I'm not sure. Did you see? Did you see Deathstroke ween?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay, well, it was close. If it didn't. So, but there was animated nudity, a lot of violence, and a lot of gore, which I like.
Yeah, there's a lot of action in it.
Yeah,
sure.
I like the gore too. I would have to say that Deathstroke, the story was really good, and I really liked it way more than Apocalypse Dark or any of those. Not as much as like Flashpoint or whatever, but so some of those Justice League movies I fall asleep during, and I can't. Like I've watched some of them a couple of times because I fall asleep through them. Deathstroke, I was in it.
Yeah.
I thought it
was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was a really interesting story, good story. If you watch Arrow, you're not going to be completely lost to some of the characters and some of the stuff that happened. So,
right.
I would go ahead and say that I'd give Deathstroke Knights and Dragons 2 crying Kevin Smiths.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Maybe 2.5, but I'm going to go with 2.
Yeah, I'm sticking with 2.
Yeah, that's good though. 2 is good. And so it was like I said, there was no big other like Batman doesn't show up or Arrow for that matter, Green Arrow.
Yeah.
But so it's
was just a story about Deathstroke.
Mostly about Deathstroke. I think Bronze Tiger's in it. That's really kind of it as far as known characters.
Yeah, if you watch oh my goodness. Titans on DC Universe, you'll notice his daughter. Oh my goodness, I can't remember her name. I cannot remember her name.
Deathstroke's daughter?
But, yeah. Her character's in there, and so is the brother, his son.
Oh, okay. Joseph?
Yeah. Man, what's her name?
I can't remember her name because in this well, I don't want to ruin it.
Okay,
if people haven't seen it, this would be a spoiler. Actually, it's already
Jade.
Yeah.
Jade was her name.
Yeah.
So Jade and Joseph were in oh my gosh, Titans.
Oh, okay. Well, we probably when I put this up, I'm going to say spoilers because that is a spoiler in the show. It's kind of a mystery as to who his daughter was.
Oh, okay.
So, but like I say, when we post this, I'm going to say spoilers.
All right.
But yeah, so of course we spoil everything now that we don't do these completely live. So
yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know, because a lot of these animated movies are at least based on the books. We've seen how like Hush was different, but I don't know what book Deathstroke Knights and Dragons is based on. Do you?
No, I don't.
But I have seen like a couple of like I've seen at least one book where it seems like the storyline was a little bit the same as far as his, how it shook out with his family and him having to go after Joseph or whatnot. So
yeah.
So that one definitely to me is one of the better animated ones that they've come out with in a little while. I love Deathstroke. I believe it was the end of Justice League where you saw Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke.
Yeah.
And man, I hope we get to see that. I hope that doesn't just get scrapped somehow.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Which it might not. And that's what we'll get into right now. Some of the stuff that came out of Fandome.
Okay.
So the first one that sticks out to me, we're kind of go the Suicide Squad. There wasn't a trailer, necessarily, but it's a behind the looks like featurette.
Yeah.
So there's some scenes in there. I believe you get to see Harley Quinn in like another kind of more like Arkham-y outfit or whatever, or kind of more. Yeah, I think it looked a lot more like Arkham Asylum, or kind of based on some of her older outfits, which was cool. People have been wanting to see that.
Right.
One thing that James Gunn said during the little featurette was, he said that this is the biggest movie he's ever made. And I'm like, wow. What would you think is the biggest movie he's ever made?
I would have thought Guardians of the Galaxy.
Bingo. Me too.
I would have thought of that. Like, now I'm not sure in terms of why he's saying that. Maybe I'm wondering if it's because of all of the characters. These are like big characters. So, I mean, yes, you have the, what is it, 5 of the Guardians of the Galaxy characters. Then you have some villains and whatnot. But it's only circled around 5, and I think there's like 10 or 15 like major characters that are part of the Suicide Squad. Yeah. So I'm wondering if that's what he's talking in terms of it being that big.
Maybe so. I mean, I know outside of Harley Quinn that Pete Davidson's in it. John Cena's in it.
Viola Davis.
Yeah.
I can't remember who played what was the main guy, the main soldier guy. I can't remember his name.
Randall Flagg.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his name was either, but he's returning.
Yep.
Which I watched the trailer, so I should know that. But
yeah, Zachary Gunn is in it. He's playing the Weasel.
Oh yeah. I wonder if we're gonna see the fella that was in all of James Gunn's movies. He was in The Walking Dead.
Michael Rooker.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
We better.
Yeah.
He needs to make a cameo. But man, so I hope this movie does great, because James Gunn being behind it obviously makes me more excited to see it. But
supposedly Taika Waititi's in it too.
Oh, that's cool.
Idris Elba's in it as well.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. I saw him in the making of trailer too.
Joel Kinnaman is Rick Flag, not Randall Flagg. Rick Flag. Yeah. Oh, Michael Rooker is in it.
Nice.
I'm not sure who he's playing, but yeah, he's in it.
Somebody's like, I watched that trailer. All those people showed up in it. Y'all are stupid. But out of all of them, that one's not the one I'm most excited about. But I am excited because of James Gunn.
Yeah.
But again, like, I just would think, and maybe it's because Guardians is a Marvel movie and now he's on DC, so he doesn't want to say, well, it's the second biggest movie I've ever made. But with all the special effects and all the stuff that went into Guardians, I'm not sure how this one's going to be bigger. But it might, and I don't even know that it's going to be better, because Guardians is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But
and I think because that was on the video game trailer, which we'll talk about in a bit. But I was going to say maybe because of the soundtrack too.
Oh yeah.
And on the video game had one of my favorite songs from one of the best rap groups out there. But yeah, so I'm hoping he doesn't kind of take the same approach to the Suicide Squad that he did with Guardians of the Galaxy, with the whole soundtrack aspect. Because if he does, I'm gonna be like, okay, man.
I don't think it's going to be like classic rock or like even older music than that. Basically, it was a lot of songs that my aunt used to listen to on her Time Music collab, or not collaborations, but whatever. They put out all those tapes with all the music,
Yeah,
that's what it sounded like to me. But it was stylish. It was stylish, and so I like that. And so if he uses music around this time, I think it'll still be stylish and probably more to the tone of this movie. It won't just be like doing it for the sake of I did that in Guardians.
Yeah.
But you know, like what was it when he did Dawn of the Dead? He used great music in that. Like I think that's just some of the stuff that he's good at. But you did mention the video game, so let's talk about Gotham Knights.
Not that one.
Oh, which game were you talking about?
Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League.
Oh, what video game is that?
Supposedly it's coming out in 2022, so in a couple more years.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. They didn't have any gameplay. It was just like a cutscene of.
Oh,
I'm not sure how it's going to start, but you do see the characters King Shark, oh my goodness, Deadshot, Harley Quinn, and Captain Boomerang.
Nice.
But yeah, it looks pretty amazing. And then you hear Amanda Waller, talking to him over radio. But yeah, it looks pretty good because you see Superman basically shoot down a helicopter.
Right.
And you see him laser blast a soldier. Now, I don't know too much of the story because it didn't really give the story away, but they were like, so towards the end of the trailer, they were like, so who are we who is our contract on? And it was Superman. So yeah,
interesting.
You got to check out the trailer.
One thing I will mention, so back to the Suicide Squad movie real quick. Jai Courtney will be back as Captain Boomerang. Mm-hmm. There will be King Shark in this movie. Also, Polka Dot Man.
Yeah.
My guess is Polka Dot Man eats it first.
Probably.
So, and then who is Pete Davidson? Have they put that out yet?
Something Captain Black or something.
Like I saw him for just a second in the preview for the movie, and he looked a lot different than I expected him to. Because I thought he'd had the blonde hair. I thought that was for that movie maybe. But I don't think he has the blonde hair in that movie, does he?
No, I can't remember.
It seems like what I saw, he had like a costume on and he had black hair. But yeah. So, all right. So I didn't even know that was a video game. That's great. I'm excited about that too. I didn't know there was a Suicide Squad video game coming out.
Blackguard. That's who Pete Davidson is playing. Sweet. And yes, he does have the blonde hair in it.
He does?
Yeah.
Oh, I could have sworn in the one I saw he had the black hair, but maybe I was wrong. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the Gotham Knights video game that was that came out during Fandome.
Mm-hmm.
The interesting thing about this game is Batman's dead, so it's not going to be like a Arkham or anything like that.
Yeah.
But so you're basically going to get to play as Robin, Red Hood, Dick Grayson, Nightwing, and Batgirl, right? And so I'm assuming that during the course of the game, you can probably do like how in Arkham there'd be like the thing where you could switch between, you're fighting with Batman and Robin, but you can switch between them. Maybe it'll be like that, or maybe you have to pick one for each story. Who knows?
Yeah.
The gameplay looked great. Normally, if you told me that we're going to get a Batman universe game with no Batman, I'm going to be like, But this one looked pretty good. What'd you think?
Yeah, it looks like it has the same mechanics. Mm-hmm. And honestly and truthfully, I kind of like Nightwing more than Batman.
Yeah.
But I think that was just me, period, in every, superhero film. If they had a sidekick, I leaned more towards the sidekick because the sidekick was always, goofier and took things seriously, but to a certain extent. And that's how I am. What was it? The Flash. Like, I like Kid Flash more than the Flash.
Right.
But then, we see that Kid Flash ends up being the Flash later on. But anyways, yeah, I think it's just something innate with me that likes the sidekicks more because they really don't get the glory as much as the as the frontliners, the headliners of the superhero crowd. So,
well, like before I would tell you if this was 10 years ago, even I'd say Robin, but I think since Robin has become Damian, or since Damian has become Robin, his character is a lot more badass. What do you think?
Yeah, I like Damian's Robin for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't really care for Tim Drake, or I was gonna say Sweeney Todd,
Jason Todd,
Jason Todd's Robin. But I did like them I do like Jason Todd's Red Hood, and I liked Dick Grayson's Nightwing more than I liked his Robin.
Me too.
So,
me too.
Yeah, I mean,
and so I know both of us have called him Red Hood, but is he also so? What is it? What do they call him now? It's not Red Hood, right? Now that he's back to being a good guy, is he Red Robin?
No, Red Robin is was a Robin right before Jason. I think that was Tim Drake was Red Robin.
Oh, okay.
Or is Red Robin. So,
because it does get a little confusing. This is just a spinoff. We're talking about Jason Todd, and this wasn't in the news, but I did see it the other day. You watched Titans, right?
Yeah.
Jason Todd will become Red Hood.
That's dope.
Yeah, that might make me watch Titans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I like Red Hood. I think I like him because he's a little bit different. He's gone his own way. Like, he uses guns.
Right.
But I still like it. I love that character because he can be good and bad. It just depends.
Yeah.
So the Gotham Knights video game that comes out next year sometime. It will be released for the PS5 and the Xbox 400 or whatever it's called. So I'm excited. So now we're moving up in my levels of excitement now.
Okay.
The Justice League trailer, a new one came out showing us some more stuff that Zack Snyder has changed up a little. Like, I even saw there was one scene from the original movie, but they've changed the background a little bit. And it's where they're all kind of like three of them are all together. And then there was some scenes that didn't look like I had seen those before necessarily. I was thinking though, like, how long is this movie going to be if Zack takes the original one, cuts out the Joss Whedon stuff, and puts his stuff in? We got an answer finally. It's going to be 4 hours. But you're not going to have to sit through a 4-hour movie. They're going to release it in 4 1-hour parts on HBO Max. So that was one thing.
Is that still going to be released like at the beginning of next year?
I don't know if it's the beginning, but I hope so. I mean, really, could they get it out before the asteroid takes us out? Or
I know, right?
You know how like sometimes they show the Star Wars movie to dying patients and stuff before it comes out?
Yeah.
Let's get them to show it to us at least.
we want to talk about it on our podcast on our last show.
Yeah.
Because we're dying.
Yeah. Which not to make light of dying people who get to see those. I think that's great that they get to that's
awesome, man. Like, dude, would I want to die? No, of course not. But I mean, I would like to see stuff, before things, did get worse, because nobody's promised tomorrow.
Right.
And, obviously if you have an illness,
like some terminal.
Yeah. Totally understand that. But, and not taken away from that at all.
No.
But yeah, it's not, it would be nice to see something, before anybody else had the opportunity to.
Well, I mean, like, just think, like, when I was a kid, Star Wars were my jam.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was a younger guy, 3 more came out. And then they announced that 3 more are coming out. So if I found out I was going to die in 6 months, I'd be like, and I hadn't seen all of them before, like, growing up with them. Yeah. I know dying will bum you out, but that would also, like, to me, that's just something nice to do for somebody, you know,
Right.
as they're going out. So, wow, bummer, big bummer here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there was one critic that I guess he had started bashing on the Justice League trailer, and it hadn't even been officially released yet, and Zack Snyder kind of took umbrage with that. But he said something to the effect of, it doesn't look like it's any different, and the original Justice League movie would be okay if you liked Saturday morning cartoons or whatever. Like he likened it to that. Like it wasn't that serious. And Zach clapped back and said something to the effect of, well, these movies are for adults, and so if Saturday morning cartoons are your thing, then you're not the right demographic. And I was like, well, duh. I mean, you know, obviously Zack Snyder's movies are not for kids.
Yeah.
You know, Guardians of the Galaxy, that's for kids.
Right.
Batman versus Superman, not really for kids.
No.
But I am excited to see this Justice League Snyder cut. I'm not convinced it's going to be better in the fact that it could have had problems to begin with. Mm-hmm. But it should be more cohesive. And we've talked about this when we go back to Batman versus Superman, which I watched again the other day. Oh, by the way, we were on Mike the comedian, his podcast, Chillin' Wit, and we kind of talked about some of these things, but I wanted to kind of mention it again here for our audience. And Mike is supposed to come join us sometime, so we'll get him on the show. But the thing about the Justice League and the thing about Batman versus Superman, couple things, really. Batman versus Superman, it's a movie I've seen like 10 times. I actually like Batman versus Superman. I'm just kind of ashamed to admit it. But the reason I think is because the first couple times I watched it, it didn't make a lot of sense in some areas. And so it wasn't as cohesive. But then when they actually let him release his cut, and it made so much more sense as to why Superman was being framed, why Batman had what was feeling the way he felt about Superman, and then that Superman kept messing with him a little bit too. They cut a lot of that out.
Yeah.
And so by the time that they were fighting, you're like, really? Why are y'all fighting?
Right.
But yeah, so I do think that this is going to be a better than the original Justice League. I just don't know if it's going to be great still.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I'll watch it. And especially in four 1 hour parts.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this, and then we'll talk a little bit more about multiverses here. I believe that Batman versus Superman, Man of Steel, and Justice League is all a different universe than what people are thinking. Like the main universe where, let's say, Batman doesn't kill.
Okay.
Because Batman doesn't... People say he kills in Batman versus Superman. They also said Superman kills, and he wouldn't do that either, you know, like... But there have been times in the movies that I believe Superman killed somebody.
I'll say this, that Superman will, in Man of Steel, he killed
Zod,
and several other people.
Yeah.
During that fight.
Right.
So
right. Yeah. So
I mean,
but if this is an alternate universe Superman and Batman, I mean the rules don't necessarily apply, right? So that's how I kind of look at it. There was a few things that I feel like tipped me off to that. One is Zack Snyder admitted not too long ago that, remember when we saw the Robin, that there is a dead Robin in this universe?
Yeah.
And we all thought it was Jason Todd or whatever. Mm-hmm. Or was it Drake, Tim Drake?
I think it was Jason Todd.
Oh, okay. Well, it wasn't either of those. He says it's Dick Grayson. So if he's the dead Robin, shouldn't that tip us off that it's not the same universe that we're thinking?
Yeah.
So, you know, do people still get angry if Batman or Superman kills? Yeah, they're still going to be upset about that because they want to see the version of these characters that they've grown to love.
Well, you also see that also in the Nightmare Batman, when he jumped to the future or had a dream of the future, that he was using guns. So I think didn't Mike bring that up?
I brought it up.
Oh, you brought it up. Okay.
And Mike agreed with me though. I mean, so for the people that are saying Batman doesn't kill or use that's the other thing they say. Well, maybe sometimes Batman might kill, but he doesn't use guns. He never uses guns. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, first of all, this is his nightmare. So in his nightmare, his nightmare future is a future where he has to use guns. Yeah. And then in that sequence, if he's not using guns, I mean, his little batarangs, they ain't gonna do shit.
Right.
Pardon my language, but that ain't gonna work.
Right.
You got an evil Superman who's all powerful mostly. Although there are certain times in like all these movies where I'm like, is Superman's that fast? Like almost as fast as the Flash.
Yeah.
Why does any of this stuff happen? Like, Batman beating him up, all the stuff. But
right.
So that's a whole, I feel like. But so that's an apocalypse. I mean, I'm sure I don't want to shoot anybody, but if the apocalypse happens, I don't know.
Right.
So again, like that's the thing to consider is, again, that's his nightmare. He doesn't want to be doing that, but when the ish hits the fan,
right,
what are you going to do? So they also announced that Ben Affleck is going to be in the Flashpoint movie as well as Batman.
Yep. Along with Michael Keaton.
Right. And so that also goes to my thought that these are different multiverses. Ben Affleck's version of Batman is not on Earth 1 or whatever we're thinking it is, right?
Yeah.
Probably not on the Christian Bale Earth. Probably not on, obviously not on Michael Keaton. Now, did you hear that Ben Affleck wasn't going to be Batman in this movie?
Yeah, I heard that he wasn't going to be Batman and that this was going to be his farewell to the character. Man,
I hope not. I hope not, because if it all goes well with the Justice League Snyder Cut, and they're not just saying, let's just cut our losses and move on. They are bringing Ben Affleck back.
Yeah,
and he just signed that HBO Max deal.
Right.
Which
so I'm wondering if the whole Flash movie is going to be happening a couple years out, and if Batman is kind of like the Nick Fury of the DC movies, to where he's going to be popping up here and there. Maybe a mention, maybe, hey, we need to go to Gotham to ask Bruce what we should do. Whatever.
But,
I mean, I'm not sure.
But that's a great comparison if that's the way they go, that he might be like a Nick Fury type, because obviously he's gathering up the crew for Justice League and all that, But yeah, I kind of hope not. I know people there's still probably people who don't like Ben Affleck as Batman. I loved him. I thought he was great as Batman. I thought he was great as Bruce Wayne.
No, I totally agree.
Did your mic fall?
Yes, it was like slowly creeping down, and I just realized it.
I noticed that too. I was like, "What's going on?" But so we'll pop this up on our edited. But they released a new Flashpoint poster, and there's a Batman behind the Flash, and people think that that's the Michael Keaton's Batman. Mm-hmm. So that I kind of like the way that DC is going right now. In that I think that they've learned their lesson not to be so freaking rigid. That, and
I think that they're finding their own formula now, to where it's like, we tried to be like Marvel, and I'm not saying that they were like
they tried though. They tried.
Well, I mean, like diehard DC fans. I don't want y'all to like kill me when I'm saying this.
No, I mean DC fans understand that. That's what I think kind of ruined it. Was they were trying to be Marvel, but it was too quick. Marvel had like 10 years to set up Avengers.
Right. So, with that being said, like, I'm liking that they're doing, we're going to go to the whole multiverse aspect. We have all these different, live action shows and movies, forget it. This is, this could just be a one-off. Earth 1 was Batman versus Superman. Earth 2 was the Flash going back in time and, going to a different universe to where he did save his mom, whatever.
Yeah.
So, I like that they're doing these whole different universes to, that we saw everything tie in. I don't know if you saw it, but the Crisis on Infinite Earths on the Flash on the CW. So, and that brought up the Titans, that brought up Michael Keaton's Batman movie, brought up the Ezra Miller Flash, and so that tied that in with the whole Justice League movie that's out now. So yeah, I like how they are like, okay, well, forget Marvel, we're gonna do what we have always done, and because there's always been several different multiverses out there.
Sure.
Or sorry, actually several different universes. The multiverse just explains that.
Yeah.
But anyways.
But yeah.
So I'm thinking that it's, I'm glad that they're taking this route. I'm like, okay, well, if you didn't like that universe, well, hey, we're going to go take you to this universe. So,
right.
And maybe not in those words, but that's what they're showing.
Well, I'm excited because, like I say, with bringing in Batfleck back into the fold, bringing Michael Keaton back in, they're giving the fans what they want instead of saying, "Nah, we're gonna do it our way," and you're not really gonna like it, but you'll learn to love it.
Right.
No, I think now they're embracing like, okay, what do these fans really want? And but they also said that the tie-in to the TV shows could go back and forth in the movies and the TV shows now.
Yeah. I was watching this YouTuber that he was saying that he was hoping that in the Flash movie, we'll see Grant Gustin.
Yeah.
Because when the Flash was saying, the universes are ending, and he was like, what do you mean? Ezra Miller's Flash. And he was like, oh no. He was like, you don't know? And he was like, what are you talking about? Or however the scene went.
Yeah.
But so all of this stuff could tie in because of, the CW shows or the DC Universe shows or the DC Extended Universe movies. So however you want to look at it, it's cool that they have that everybody's seeing their own entities and seeing what people like and dislike.
Yeah.
About those certain universes.
Right. Well, and kind of like I said on Mike's podcast was even the whole Lex Luthor, Jesse Eisenberg, and it being a lot different than most people. You've said several times, Lex Luthor would not be that petty.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a different universe, Lex, where he is more, like Jesse Eisenberg's version.
Right.
Who knows? But that's what I think. Now, all of that brings us to what I was the most giddy about this weekend. The Batman trailer. Dude.
All I got to say.
And go ahead. You go first.
All I got to say is Robert Pattinson looks legit. I will say this, I don't like his hairstyle, but we do know that this is a younger Batman.
It is year two of him being Batman, we found out.
So he's not obviously he's not the Christian Bale or the Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton, because they were, Batman Begins, that was obviously kind of something around this time with the Robert Pattinson Batman. But I will say I'm more excited about Robert Pattinson's Batman than I thought I would be.
I mean, I thought Robert Pattinson. I just think he's going to do good. But who said from the beginning that this wasn't going to be as bad as everybody said? Who said?
I did.
No, you did not.
No, you did.
I actually don't think that you weren't bashing Robert Pattinson, but you were like, let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
But now that you've seen it, like that one scene where he's like beating the dude up and breaking his arm.
Oh my goodness, dude. I was like, chill, Bruce. Chill.
Like, so, this is going to be another, if you want another dark and gritty Batman movie, you're getting it.
This is it right
You're
here.
getting it. Jeffrey Wright.
Awesome.
I knew
awesome.
I knew he was going to like be James Gordon.
Yeah.
And he does. You could just, I don't know. It just seemed right.
He kind of reminds me of this James Gordon. Kind of reminds me of oh my goodness, I can't remember his name on Westworld. Oh my goodness, what's his name on Westworld?
What? Dang it! Oh God, now you got me all messed up because there's Arnold,
right?
But his other character.
Yeah, well, we'll just say Arnold. The reanimated Arnold. That's who he reminds me of. The way he was looking at stuff, I was like, okay, I could see, Arnold being the James Gordon in Westworld, and vice versa. But yeah, he looks amazing as James Gordon.
Yeah, I like him. He was in. Did you watch Boardwalk Empire?
No, I didn't.
He was great in that, and that's kind of where I first noticed him, where he played like a bad guy, but he was just so he reminded me of Giancarlo Esposito in that their characters are very smart and a little bit not over the top villainy, right? But that don't let that fool you that he's not dangerous. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, and I also Bernard. I also enjoyed him in the James Bond movies. He was not in it much, but I just watching him as Gordon. He fits that part, and I was like, "Yep, I love it. I love it." What else? So it is.
Oh, I didn't realize Andy Serkis was Alfred Pennyworth.
Is that who Alfred is?
Yeah.
You don't see him in the preview, but you hear his voice.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell is the Penguin.
Right.
Zoe Kravitz is Catwoman.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Dano is the Riddler, and it looks from the trailer that it's going to be kind of more Riddler centric.
Yeah, like he looks like he might be the main villain.
Andy Serkis, yeah, I guess I could see that. I mean, I was like, he's not that old, but I guess he's a little old. So
yeah.
John Turturro, I didn't know he's in it. Carmine Falcone, that's awesome. So, but I know that I'm sure that the trailer isn't going to win over everyone who thought, no. Robert Pattinson, no. But I mean, I feel like more people are watching this trailer and saying, ooh, than not. I haven't seen anybody really say, nah.
Yeah.
I mean, and Matt Reeves, I trust Matt Reeves. The tone of the movie, it looked kind of like more like the Michael Keaton Batman, but with the brutality of some of the other ones, like the seriousness of some of the other ones. But like, like there was the scene that Batman was down in the like city square or whatever, and it reminded me of the second Batman, or even the first one actually. Maybe it was the second one where he's down. No, there's the first one. Sorry, where the Joker shows up in his joke, his other Joker outfit and stuff. And but it looked like you could see the city, but everything else above it looked real dark, And I don't know. I just think it's going to be.
I think it's going to be really good.
I think it might be the best Batman movie.
I'm not going to say that. I'll let you be the sorry, Zordon is calling me. If you didn't hear that, that's my ringtone is the Power Rangers.
Oh, yeah, I did hear that.
Okay. I think that it'll be good. Will it be the best Batman movie? I don't know.
Okay, so I would say everybody's going to be like, you're crazy. It's the best Batman movie is the first one with Keaton, and then maybe The Dark Knight. Or, they might say The Dark Knight, with the Joker, with Heath Ledger as one, and Batman 2. But what if this is 3? That's great. That's great if it's the third best Batman movie. So it's hard to say that it's going to be the best one, but it doesn't look over the top cheesy like Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
Yeah.
It looks like it captures the tone of Batman the right way. Mm-hmm. And it looks like it's going to be brutal in a way.
Yeah.
And I mean, not brutal in a bad way, but brutal like Batman has some rage.
Yeah.
And he's not a wiener, that's for sure. So, I don't know. This trailer confirmed what I was already thinking, which this is going to be a really good movie.
Yeah.
But who knows? It could stink. We could get to them, So, but I don't know. And people watching, comment, tell me if it swayed you, if you thought it was going to suck and now you don't, or. Mm-hmm. But I think Robert Pattinson is going to be a very good Batman. We'll see.
Yeah, I think he'll do good.
So that's pretty much it from the Fandome.
Well, and you know what? Yeah. Just real quick on the Robert Pattinson Batman. He can't really do any wrong. If you actually look at it,
as long as they don't put nipples on him.
Yeah. The only thing that people can really compare him to is the Christian Bale Batman. And the reason why I say that is because he wasn't Batman for X amount of years.
Right.
He was just starting out.
Right.
So, and then, as time went on, however many years you want to say wanted to pass through the Dark Knight trilogy. So I think that's who he's really up against. If you want to compare him to anybody, because if he's in year 2 of Batman, he's, I wouldn't say really starting to get his footing, but, he's taken his first steps as a symbol of vengeance or, justice or whatever you want to call it. So I think if anything, he would be, compared to Christian Bale, then his Batman,
sure.
Then Ben Affleck or Michael Keaton, or I don't really want to bring up George Clooney or Val Kilmer, but yeah. So,
like I said, I don't know if I did mention this, but they did say, I think Matt Reeves or somebody said, this definitely is in a different multiverse. So it's not going to be in the same universe as the Justice League.
See, and I like that.
Me too.
I like that.
Me too.
Although I kind of wish that it was in the same universe, because I want Ben Affleck to be the more mature Batman.
Yeah, later on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but I think a lot of things, they're obviously spinning off the Gotham PD show off of this movie.
Yeah.
So we could get a lot of cool stuff to go along with it for the foreseeable future. But it looked like a good Batman movie. Oh, in that scene where he's beating that dude up and somebody is like, "Who are you?" You know what you thought he was going to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when he said, instead of saying, "I'm Batman," he said, "I'm vengeance." I was like, yes, yes.
That was pretty dope.
Because I thought he was going to say it. And I was like, all right,
Yeah, you know what? I'm pretty sure Matt Reeves, writing the script. And he was like, that's going to be cheesy.
Exactly.
Michael Keaton said it. Every other Batman has said it.
I don't think Ben Affleck said it, but
no, he hasn't.
But yeah, Christian Bale said it.
Yeah. So it's like we're going to take a different route on this one.
But I like the swerve because I think they meant for everybody to think, oh, he's going to say it.
Right.
But I was glad that he didn't, because that tells me this is going to be a different Batman than you're used to.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Like that's the one. As I was watching that trailer, like I was like this. for those just listening, big huge put a smile on your face. Smile.
Yeah. I don't think I had a smile on my face, but I was pretty interested on how this movie was going to be. So I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to go see this. Definitely.
We're going to move on, but before we go, I just want to mention something real quick. I watched The Joker again the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I like it as much as I thought I did.
Why is that?
I don't know. Like, I feel like after you watch it the first time, you're like, okay, well, you know, it's tedious.
Okay.
I don't know. Have you seen it more than just the one time?
Yeah, I've seen it twice.
Did you like it both times?
Can't remember. Yeah, dude, I mean, I like in college I loved psychology.
Yeah.
So, you know, and the Joker is so psychological.
Sure.
So I mean, I think it's just something that I like, that I enjoyed. And now it's one of those movies that I'm not going to watch because I'm bored.
Yeah.
It's going to be because I want to watch it.
Right.
And the second time that I watched it, one, I wanted to rewatch it, and two, my wife and her, and my mother-in-law wanted to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was like, okay, cool. You know, I'm just gonna buy the movie and we can just watch it, and I can have it, you know, and watch it whenever, because it's more of like the movie Inception.
Yeah.
Of Inception. Now, do I love it to watch board? No, because I want to make sure that. I think I lost you. Are you?
No, I'm here.
Okay. So it's one of those movies that I'm gonna watch and pay attention to.
I mean, listen, it's a very good movie. It's a very smart movie. There's not like a bunch of things wrong with it, I'd say, but it's not like a fun movie. Mm-mm. You see what I'm saying? I think that's where it is, where it gets me, where I'm like, I like it, but I don't want to watch it a bunch of times.
Yeah. I mean, because it is, if you want to look at it, it is a depressing movie.
Yeah.
You see,
it's supposed to be, I think, but
yeah, you see the state of healthcare the way it is now. It's kind of, you know, my wife has said this multiple times. Movies have been made and have been telling people what society is, something along those lines. I'm not saying exactly how she said it, but you see pieces of actual life in these movies.
Art imitating life.
Yes. So it's like, you know, it's depressing because, you know, this guy needs help. He's been lied to his whole life. Who he thinks is somebody that he can look up to is really nobody, because again, he's been lied to his whole life. He has a mental disorder, and it's you know, it's just a depressing movie.
Yeah, I think that's what we're talking about. And when I'm saying, I don't know if I love it like I loved it the first time. Plus, once you see the way it unfolds, like when you're watching it the first time, you're like, "Ooh, what's gonna happen?" You know, like
yeah.
But this one, it's just, I don't know. Like when I say tedious, I think that's what I mean. It's not a fun movie.
Okay.
Whereas somebody who's like, well, but BVS is. There's like I say, there's a little bit of that movie that makes a great Batman movie, but
yeah.
But no, it's not a fun movie either. But there was that line out of the Joker that probably the best line out of any of those DC, like any maybe comic book movie ever, was when he was talking about the thing about having a mental illness is everyone expects you to act like you don't have one.
Right.
And that one, like, whoa.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I think that's where you nailed it. It's not a fun movie. Now, I was going to ask you regarding the Batman and all the different Batman movies, and I'll tell you why I don't think it would ever happen. Do you think that we'll see Christian Bale come back in one of these movies as like, you know, like kind of like Keaton or?
Nah, because I don't think he's really invested in it like the others. I'll say that Michael Keaton, I think the only reason why he's invested in it, one, he kicked off an era of awesome superhero movies. And not just that, that's just his character. I mean, you look at Beetlejuice, Birdman,
which Birdman was kind of like a comeback for him.
Yeah.
It was Birdman, and then he was in it was the remake of RoboCop, wasn't it?
I can't remember.
Which wasn't a great movie.
Yeah, it wasn't really.
But that's when you started seeing him come back a little bit because he had been gone a while.
Right. And so I think Michael Keaton knows what fans like. He's been in it since the late 80s. So I think that's why him and Ben Affleck are even in talks of like, you know, possibly being in, you know, multiple movies on down the road, is because one, they don't want anything serious, but they don't mind to dabble in it. Christian Bale, I think he's too posh for the comic book lifestyle. So
the only way I would say I would see him coming back as Batman is if Christopher Nolan was behind it somehow. That's the only way. And I don't really see that happening, where Christopher Nolan would want to say, yeah, let's get, you know, Ben Affleck and the Michael, like that might be too comic booky for him and not as serious as a tone that Christopher Nolan always takes.
Right.
Because he wants to make films. It's not just that he wants to make movies. And the Batman movies that he made were more film-like,
right?
Which I loved. Everybody loved those movies. But
yeah, I mean, because the real comic booky aspect of the Christopher Nolan Batman movies was the Batplane.
Yeah,
that was the only comic booky thing that there is, because one, it's not a plane that's like that. Not a plane that can hover. I mean, if you want to talk about a helicopter, but that's two different things. But everything else was real. You had a tank vehicle car.
Yeah,
that's real. It didn't look like a bat. It didn't look like anything, you know, funky. The weapons, realistic as all get out. So yeah, like you said, this was more of a film and more based on actual
like more of a realistic Batman.
Right.
Yeah. If that kind of a world could be realistic. But there was a lot more attempts at realism in this movie, I felt like. Which is fine. I love Christopher Nolan. But I'm with you. I think that I just don't see
because
Christian Bale doing that.
No, because like even if you paid Christian Bale Robert Downey Jr. money, he wouldn't come back.
And the thing is, I feel like also they probably offered something to him.
You would think.
And he probably turned it down.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right, Cameo. Before we get out of here, I've got a couple movie recommendations to mention. We did mention Deathstroke Knights and Dragons. That's a good one. I say go rent that one if you haven't seen it yet. On Netflix, we have also it's written. Project Power was written by the same guy who's writing the Batman with Matt Reeves.
Oh, cool.
And it's on Netflix right now. It's been out for a week or so.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Last weekend.
Jamie Foxx, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Levitt.
Yeah.
Yep.
I enjoyed it. It was it the best movie ever? No. But it was a really good one. And it was kind of derivative. I feel like that why when I first saw the premise, I was like, oh, it kind of looks like some of those other movies. You know, they take the pills to get power. Yeah. But it was unique in that everybody had their own unique power.
Right.
And I really enjoyed it. It's a great action flick, I thought, especially when you're sitting at home scrolling through Netflix and you're like, what should I watch? I've seen everything. So I definitely recommend Project Power on Netflix. You can watch that right now for free. And then my last... I
was just going to say, I really like the twist of it, too, is that these pills were like actual drugs. Mm-hmm. So you can OD. Yeah. But the instead of just, foaming at the mouth and seizuring and dying, you explode. Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of cool too that it's kind of like another superhero movie. It's basically Batman-esque because of how dark it is. Mm-hmm. And meaning the tone and the actual cinematography, everything was just dark in the whole movie. Even during the daytime, it looked dark. For me anyway. But yeah, I would say watch Project Power. Like Brad said, it wasn't like the best movie, but if you want something to watch and be entertained by, you'll be entertained by it. I
was entertained, so I definitely recommend that one. And then the last one, I may have mentioned this on the show before. I'm not sure, or I may have meant to, because I've watched this probably 3 weeks ago. But there's a movie called Archive that you can rent right now. And just a basic synopsis of it. It's about a guy, it's set in the future, and he builds
2049.
Yeah, is that when it's set?
Yeah.
And he builds robots. And I don't want to get too far into that. But I will tell you that the movie
2038.
Oh, that makes a huge difference, Cameo.
18 years from now. I mean, hey.
Yeah. So this guy, well, I won't spoil the movie or nothing, but the movie he's building robots to replace some loved ones, basically, and the cinematography of it sometimes felt like a sci-fi channel movie, but the story was excellent. The pacing was great. The music, sometimes it felt like a horror movie at times.
Yeah.
And to some people that would be a horror movie. Mm-hmm. But I just really, I don't know if I was stoned or or what, but I loved it. So I recommend Archive. It's a great movie. If you've seen Ex Machina,
yeah.
It's kind of similar to that movie, kind of, but I really enjoyed it. So if those out there haven't seen Archive, I would highly recommend that one. Pretty good movie.
I recommend this movie. It came out 5 years ago. If you like anime, it's called The Boy and the Beast. Mm-hmm. Quick little deal. A young boy, I think he's 9, and he ends up running away from, I want to say like his foster parents, because I think his mother just died. Mm-hmm. And so he's running away. He gets found by this mysterious being, and he ends up following him into this alleyway, and then he comes in, and it's like a full world of like human-like animals, right? And he ends up training to be somewhat like a samurai. But it's a cool story. The fight scenes are pretty awesome, but the whole storyline is amazing. I really enjoyed that.
That one sounds good. I'm not like the biggest anime guy, so I leave that more towards you to recommend. good animes.
But yeah, that one's pretty good. I will say, too, every Sunday, HBO Max, HBO Go, whatever you have, I would say watch Lovecraft Country.
Yes. As a matter of fact, episode 2 comes on tonight as we're recording this.
Yes.
Dude, I was watching that show, and like halfway through, I was kind of like, nah, this is all right. Mm-hmm. And then the second half of that show, I was like, why didn't they just go with this from the beginning? Because this was freaking awesome.
That was my exact thought. I was like, man, this show's going to suck.
Yeah.
And then I want to say like 30, 45 minutes in, I was like, okay, starting to pick back up. And then at the end, I was like, oh, snap.
Where's episode 2? I want it now.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I could, if they had all those shows out right now, I would have probably binge watched them.
Oh, heck yes.
Yeah. So hopefully it kind of stays more towards that. I know that they had to build up some of the story.
Right.
But man, does that show get really good towards the second half of that.
Like it just snaps. Like
That's it. That's our show, Cameo.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, like always, keep it nerdy.
Yeah. Put a smile on your face.
Freeze all motor functions.
This is the way.